back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike Jaselka, Red Rain, one of our featured um, bands on the New Rock Moment. We started a new segment called the New Rock Moment. We are joined by drummer Sammy Lee. How are you, my man?
I'm fine. How you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I love that song.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So do I.
Thank you so much.
We've done here on this show, we started it's called the New Rock Moment, where we feature a band like every week. I've had a battle. Do you know Chris Aiken?
I do know Chris Aiken very well.
So I've been having a battle with him over music and new rock, and so I wanted to start featuring some bands here, and I think that you guys absolutely rock. You kill it.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about Red Rain, how you got together, and how everything started, and everything else.
Sure. So I'll try to do the quick version. The singer and I were in a prior band that did mostly originals, but some covers. That band ended, and I had this idea of just doing all originals. You know, everybody does cover tunes, which is great, but I wanted to do all originals. We had written some that we never released. So the lead singer is Bubba McMichael, who Bubba and I've been playing in bands for 18, 20 years. We then got Larry Moore, who is our bass player. Larry has been playing bass for many, many years as well. And then we finalized the band with Stevie Shred, who's our guitar player. But one of the songs that we wrote that we never finished was actually Not That Way. That song.
It's fantastic, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And playing that video y'all just played, I just realized they didn't show any pictures of the drummer. So
yeah, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Damn, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I gotta talk to somebody about that.
There you go.
There's plenty of live stuff that's out there though on YouTube. I've noticed that there's a lot of live stuff that you guys do. You guys have toured with some pretty cool bands.
Yes, we have. Yes, we've been pretty fortunate.
Who have you been touring with?
So I'll tell you, we started when our very first show that we did sort of on that kind of level was Lita Ford was our very first show. Very gracious. What a great show. What a great person she was. We met her for, quick second. Couldn't have been any nicer. And then where we got kind of, I say, the bigger break that we had is we got on a tour with Tesla, the band.
Wow.
And so back in 2017, we started in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Cincinnati, to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Then we drove back to Richmond, then met them back up in Pennsylvania and finished the tour. We only did like a week run, finished the tour actually here at hometown Richmond. Yeah. And then from that point on, we've been able to play with Dokken and Jackal, Slaughter, Winger, Tesla again. We actually went back out with Tesla a couple times in 2018, 2019. So yeah, we've had a really, really good run with some of these bands that we all listened to and loved and still love to this day.
I got to talk to actually Kip Winger and one of the guys from Tesla the other day, a couple weeks ago, and it was cool talking to those guys. And one of the things I kind of asked Kip Winger, I want to ask you, one of the reasons I started this segment is because to me, new rock and rock music in general has just kind of gone, I hate to say downhill, but doesn't maybe get the coverage that it used to around here on the radio, doesn't get the airplay that it used to. It seems like if you go overseas, it seems to be bigger. But what's the problem with rock music today in this country? Or is there one? I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that for the fact that in all these tours that we played, we have met bands like us that we just enjoyed playing with and great music. I don't know where it starts and where it ends of why new rock, hard rock, heavy metal can't be put out to the forefront. I don't know the answer to that. I wish I did, but I do know there's a lot of shows like yourself now and other shows that are promoting this type of music. But do people go look for it is the question. We're in Richmond, Virginia. That's where we're based out of, and there's a lot of great bands here. A lot of great bands that play, the clubs and do a lot of covers. I don't want to do covers anymore. I did it for years and years and years, but when I do go see a band or a friend of mine that is playing, it's always like, hey, there's no good music. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. There is. There's a lot of internet radio stations, a lot of shows, again, like yourself. They're all out there. You just got to go find it. I don't think mainstream radio at this point is going to push sort of a new kind of Van Halen, Aerosmith type band at this point, but I could be wrong. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's killing me because we're based in Cleveland. We're supposed to be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, capital of the world, whatever. And
Right.
it used to have some great clubs, and I mean, I guess we still do. But man, the local scene used to be so great, and the national scene, all these concerts would always come here. Cleveland was a destination point.
Right.
Now it just seems like for rock music, it doesn't seem like that anymore.
Well, what kind of baffles me is, we played Richmond 2 or 3 times. We don't get, and this is no disrespect to anybody or putting anybody down. We don't get, if we were to headline a show in Richmond, we would not do very well because we do all originals. So I think people like what they know. People like to hear the songs that they grew up with, or what they want, and what there's, again, nothing wrong with that, but that's just not the type of band that we are. So we have to plug and push in a different avenue, and we're lucky enough to have a team publish, a team of people who push the band, who like the band, and push us up the hill. And it's been a long push, and we're still pushing. So,
Sammy, let me ask you, with the dedication to coming up with original music,
sure,
do you guys carve out a time to write, or is it still somebody finds a lick, somebody finds a chop, somebody shares and says, hey, listen to this, and then everybody builds on it? Or do you show up at the studio together and go, okay, let's write this and try to come? I mean, does the music find you?
Well, that's a great question, Michael. So believe it or not, everybody in the band has a role, which is great, and so Bubba and I started the band. I happen, on the side, I own a couple businesses. So I run all the business portion of the band. So I'm the one that would be talking to anybody that needs to be talking to, our, again, our publicist, our management team, so on.
Right.
Bubba McMichael, the singer, is the main songwriter. And I don't know where it comes from, but he has no shortage of songs, really. I mean, it's really no. And Stevie and Larry also help with the songwriting process. In the way, Bubba will bring in the idea like you were talking about. He usually has an idea, and yeah, we'll go in and we'll rehearse. Usually if we have a show, which we do have coming up, but we have a show, we'll take the first 45 minutes to an hour and go over the set two times, or, make sure the show's good. And then we'll start noodling around with some of the ideas. So yeah, that's really the basis of it. But I tell you, I don't know where Bubba comes up with it, but there's no shortage of material. So, which is good. It's a great, matter of fact, and I know we'll hopefully talk about this. We do have a new album we're going to be releasing very soon, but Bubba's already on. I mean, we haven't even put it out or even played one new song live yet, and he's already, I think he told me he's got 5 or 6 new ones already. So I don't know where he gets them from.
Yeah.
When does the new album come out?
I don't have an answer to that. We're still kind of dotting the I's and cross the T's. We thought it would have been out by now, but there's some things going on behind the scenes that we're just trying to iron out before we get it done. So I really don't have an answer for that. I'd really like to get it out as soon as possible because we've kind of been pumping it. We're very excited about this album. This is a great, I know I'm biased being in the band, but it's really a great album. There's a song, the songs are a little more melodic. They're not as heavy. I mean, you've got a little bit of everything. You've got some really heavy songs on there. You got a little more melody, a little more melodic to it, but, and the songwriting has progressed, really. And so we're very excited. It took us some time to get this down, but can't wait for everybody to hear it.
Now, going off of Mike's question a little bit, like, I've always been kind of intrigued on how, like, a band puts just a song together. Like, how do you come up with like a drum solo all of a sudden, or how does the music just come? Does it all just kind of happen? What's the process actually like writing just a song, much less an entire album?
So, I mean, you guys have heard 1,000 times with all of everybody's rock heroes. That song was written in 5 minutes. I just came up with a riff and it was all done. I mean, really, in reality, yeah, that's basically it. There's a riff that Bubba will come in with, and then we toy around with it. I'll add a beat, or he'll hear something, or I'll hear something, and Larry and Stevie will hear something, and so on and so on. And then it morphs, it continues to morph. But the funny thing about it is we'll play a song one week and say, that was a great idea. And of course, we never record it. Come in the next week and the song's already changed, And so we're trying to get better about recording. But believe it or not, we actually have I got a file about a mile long of songs that we have written that were never even released or even recorded yet.
Wow.
Now, George Lynch is on the album. How'd that happen?
So that happened through the Classic Metal Show.
Yeah.
Yep. So with Chris and Neely was a big part of that and help us kind of get that roped in. So not only, and Chris and Neely have been such a huge part in getting Red Rain out that we feel like they're part of the band. So that's really how it went through. I couldn't bore you with the whole process of how it got through, but they were the ones that, it's really cool. Really cool. And what's really cool is I got to talk to him on the phone about the lead, and listen, I don't get shell shocked hardly at all, but when you got George Lynch on the other end, on the other end of the phone, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of people. I did, rock radio for 11, 12 years. And so I got to meet some people, and after a while, man, you meet some of these stars like AC/DC and stuff. You sit back and I can't believe I'm talking to guys who are like a rock friggin' heroes of mine.
Right.
Yeah. So having George Lynch on is pretty sweet.
It is. The song is it's my favorite song on the album, and not even really so much that George is on it. It's just the song was kind of a kick ass from the beginning. George just really took it up a notch.
Nice.
You guys touring at all?
So we're not touring right now. COVID really kind of hurt us. It hurt us and it helped us. And so it hurt us in the fact that we were going strong. We had shows lined up, and we actually had just gotten off the road with Tesla. We started a show with Y&T in North Carolina, and then picked up Tesla, and then COVID hit. We had some shows booked, but that's the bad part. The good part is that what gave us the chance to really sit down and write the new album. So that was big.
You guys play in Pittsburgh a lot, right?
We play Pittsburgh usually once every couple of years. We usually play Jurgles, so that's pretty good.
I heard about. Is that a cool place?
It really is a cool place. It's we enjoy going up there. They've always treated us with nothing but respect. It's some great shows. Let's see, there we did shows with Winger and Slaughter and Dokken, I think, were some of the shows we played up there. But we also have believe it or not, one of our other really homes that we call it, and the promoter's been great to us, is Roanoke, Virginia, Dr. Pepper Park, and that's where our next show is, May 27th with Kicks. So
Sammy, have you been to Cleveland? Have you ever been to Cleveland?
I have never been to Cleveland. Wow. Never. I think the closest we got was Erie, Pennsylvania.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's
with what's going on and all the new stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Please, your tour plans ever include, Cleveland or being really close.
Yeah.
Let us know so we can let everybody here know, and we can clear our calendars and catch.
Well, we would love, it's funny, when we were going pretty strong, we've had people email us, because I always give out my email address. Anybody wants to talk can talk, but it's like, hey, when are you coming here? The sad part is, and the sad reality of music business is, it's not really where we want to go. It's who's going to book us.
Right.
That's the deal. And again, being sort of an unknown band, and we're trying to get out there. We'll get there eventually, but we're trying. Trust me. We'd love to play Cleveland. We've had a couple people ask us, we're coming to Texas or Florida. We'd love to play all these places, but you don't. It's not a high paying gig if you get paid at all. So
right.
That's a whole other thing.
I know a lot of bands that say the same thing. Pittsburgh, one of the best bars I ever went to in Pittsburgh, real quick. If you ever go back to Pittsburgh and play there, you got to check this place out. I don't know if it's still around, but called Casey's. You ever heard of it? They have a box at the end of the bar, and every half hour, this bell rings, and a midget pops out of the box and runs down the bar and just starts dumping shots down people's throats. And so they have a great music scene and a great bar selection down there in Pittsburgh. It's a cool area.
So that's right in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jurgles, if I'm correct, and don't hold me this, I think is just a shot north of the city. So I think it's about 20 minutes up, sort of in Cranberry Township, somewhere in there, up in that area. I think. I don't know if I have that right.
Where can people get the music you have out now?
So we are all over all the downloadable music sites. Unfortunately, it's still the older music, our first EP. Not That Way is on that, obviously, but we're on Spotify and Apple, anything, Google Music, anything you can download music. We are on the site. Just look up Red Rain, and it's REIGN band. Our website is down as of right now because we are revamping for the new album, but it will be redrainband.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. So Red Rain Band.
You know, one last thing, just from me anyway, being an outsider. I don't play an instrument, but I've always admired somebody who could sit down at a piano or pick up a guitar and go somewhere else.
Right.
But with everything that's changed, I mean, Woodstock happened. Nobody had any idea it was going to be what it was going to be. And radio's changed, and everybody laments and talks about that. But there has to be a college stadium someplace where a decent promoter and stuff like that could put an unknown festival together, you know,
right.
and just reach out to all the bands that you know or heard of and keep in touch with the crossing and just show up and play for 3 days. And with everybody complaining about what it costs to see so-and-so's concert and how much the tickets are, go back to charging $15 for the weekend, but get 100,000 people to show up for the hell of it and have an event, you know, not just a tour, have an event.
That would, you know, I'm always thinking ahead of the box. You know, I'm a, as you can see behind me, I'm a huge Van Halen fan. So, I mean, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I mean, I saw Van Halen in 1982 for $13.50. I mean, that's amazing.
I paid $10 to see them at the Troubadour. And the only reason they were doing a show was they were playing their high school graduation the following week.
Right. I mean, it's crazy. And now, and you know, now, and I don't pay to see a lot of bands like big money, but I mean, I think the last concert I went to Van Halen, the tickets were $50-$60 still, which is still cheap, unfortunately, you know, which is sad in today's, but I agree with you, you know, it's becoming too expensive, and I'm reading. You know, I just read the other day, and I know that not even this level, but the Who's not even, I believe, not even coming back to America because it's too expensive. And Steve Vai canceled a tour over in Europe, and Godsmack canceled a tour. I mean, that's bad news for bands like us.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, the good thing is though, there are a lot of these festivals out there. I mean, you got the Sonic Temple festival that's happening. I mean, you guys should be able to get on a gig like that. I mean, they have 112 bands playing these things.
Yeah,
3 different nights, and a lot of the bands are up and coming bands like yourselves.
Right?
I mean, are you guys able to do anything like that, or have you looked into something like that? Or I don't know.
Well, we have. You know, again, what makes it harder for us is, you know, we're not in our 20s and 30s. That's the number one, and so everybody's got a job, you know, because there's no payday or at this point in the level that we're at, you know, everything we do is out of pocket. So when we travel, it's out of pocket. You know, we got to get a van with the equipment and so on. So, you know, for us to trek, say, to California, that's not a 3-day event for us. That's a 7-day event, basically. Yeah. And so, you know, that's the thing. So what we're trying to do is pick and choose where we can get the bang for the buck, you know. Some shows pop up like the Dr. Pepper Park. Like I said, she is so good to us, and we've told her anytime she needs a band, we're there. So that's different. But if somebody wants us to play in Louisiana, we have to logistically find out how we can do it.
How you can do it.
Right. That's the problem. And that's the sad part because, you know, we just want to play, you know.
Yeah, that's the problem. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier on, is that's the problem I have with rock music today. They do these stupid festivals that are 3 days on a campground somewhere where it costs you $3,000 to get a couple of tickets and go for the weekend. And it's insane. And then all these bands are there instead of just going city to city like they used to and promoting the music and promoting the albums. It's just not the same kind of scene that it used to be. And I think it hurts smaller bands. It hurts getting them exposure. And I think that sucks. And I think
that's the challenge, is how do you promote a band? And see, and that's sort of that's where we're at now. I mean, we've been asked through our team, like, hey, do you want to do this tour? Do you want to do that tour? I give you an example. There was a band out there now. I don't want to name names because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, but there was a pretty big 80s band was out touring, and we were asked to do the show. And I'm like, but why? We have nothing new to promote. The EP that we have is 7 years old. And so until we can get this album out and promote the new stuff, that's number one. How you promote it, that's where we're at now. And that's what's taking a little bit longer to get the album out, because I don't want to just throw it on Spotify. That's kind of
you're not going to make any money off
you're getting nowhere.
Yeah, right.
Well, you're not going to get any money, but you're not going to draw people. I mean, the challenge is, I'm in Richmond, Virginia. How do I get somebody in California to listen to Red Rain?
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the challenge we're going through. But I think we're making some progress, and that's really what's held up the album. But I'm hoping sooner than later it's coming out. So, like I said, we're very excited about it.
And real quick, how do you make money off of music anymore? Because with places like Spotify and Amazon and all that kind of stuff, your music is out there. But unless you're downloading song by song, it's tough to get an album. You're not going to get it in the stores. I mean, other than touring, what do you got to do? You got to really hustle to make money now, don't you?
Well, you do, and but the funny thing is, when I started this band with Bubba, Larry and Stevie came aboard, and I explained to them explicitly, like, look, guys, this is not a moneymaker. This is not, So, we're trying to, the exposure is really good for us. We've all played in bands and bars and made $100 a night, $50 a night. We've all done that, but this is sort of a different level that we're on. We feel like we're on. So you got to take what you can get. But as far as the money goes, we've made very little money. Spotify, but that's the game we're in today, so you just got to keep pushing along and try to find a way to win. And that's what we're trying to do. Everything we do, we don't move quickly, because everything we do is we try to make methodical. Every move we make, because if you make one move that's an inch, that's positive, that's great. But if you make one bad move, you're going down 18 flights of stairs. That's the problem. And so we're very particular about what we do, when we do it, and how we do it.
Well, I absolutely love the music, and the band it's Red Rain, REIGN,
right?
Band.com. When the website's up, when the website's going to be up, when is it going to be soon?
Probably in a couple weeks. Probably in a couple weeks. The album is at least probably a month away, but the site will be up a couple weeks, especially before the show we're playing again, March 27th. If you don't mind me plugging that, at Dr. Pepper Park in Roanoke with the band.
May 27th.
I'm sorry, that's what I say, March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant May 27th. Thank you.
Okay. I just made a note that 3 weeks to err on the side of caution, to make sure that we bring up the fact that the website's up and the concert's coming, and do that on the show.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so May 27th. You're right. I'm sorry. We're at Dr. Pepper Park in Roanoke with Kicks. And so right now, that's the only show in the books. We are looking at other shows. Maybe end of summer, maybe middle of summer. My main goal is to get the album out, because there's no reason to play a show if you got nothing to promote anyway. That's where you get a lot of your promotion going too, is the show. So we're working on new merchandise, new everything. So when the album's ready to go, we are off and running.
Well, I'll tell you what, you need to let Chris know when that album's coming out. I'm sure you will, but so that way we can talk about it. And also, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking forward to it. We're getting a lot of reaction from people listening and watching.
I appreciate it.
They love the music, and
thank you.
I want to check out the new album too. So when that drops, you got to let us know.
Well, I'm hoping. I actually have a call tomorrow with some of our team. If the album doesn't at least drop for another month or two, I'm okay with that. I really want to get the George Lynch single out. That's what I'm really pushing for at the moment. Garner a little interest. But when we get a couple, we're actually getting ready to manufacture some of the CDs for the show. I'll either get with you guys or I'll get with Chris, and I'll send you two a copy so y'all can hear it.
I want to play it. I want to play it on here, and I want to listen to it, definitely. So
I appreciate it,
my man. Thanks for coming on tonight.
I appreciate y'all having me on. It's a pleasure meeting you guys, and thank you so much. And I'll get you that. I'll get you the album, and we'll go from there.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Red Rain. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.